Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. For those of you who are watching my session for the first time, my name is Savitri Krishnamurty. I teach English and Logic at BYJU'S. This editorial analysis we do every Tuesday. The analysis is from a linguistic point of view. It will help you with your reading comprehension in several aptitude tests. Since, one second, let me just get this right. Okay. All right. Now, what do we need to do? Today's editorial analysis, because MAT CET and CMAT are around the corner, I have made it more vocabulary centric. I have also, of course, kept reading comprehension questions. So, first off, if you can see me and hear me clearly, give me a head start and then a thumbs up, and then we'll start the series. All right. All right, good. Now, I'm going to show you each of the slides quickly for about 30 seconds. All right, and then I'm going to summarize it for you. So your 30 seconds starts now. 40 seconds. All right. So what does the author say? The I hate going to the mall. Not many of you would agree with that probably. When I visit as in visit the mall, I'm filled with a sense of existential dread. What is all of you keep talking about existential crisis, existential threat. One, a threat to your existence. The other could relate to a school of philosophy which says the world has no meaning. You are responsible for your actions, and that's about it. I am overwhelmed by the sheer number of products, left with a sense that I should either buy all of them or none of them. So when he sees the number of products that are available in the mall, he gets very confused. And he wants to either buy all of them or end up buying none. It's called, the problem of plenty. There's so many things to choose from. You don't know what to choose from. Somehow, one second, just give me a second. Uh, all right, that was my IT person. I thought there was something wrong with what I'm doing. All right. So he said that a few years ago, I decided enough. I formed the intention never to visit the mall again. So he said, I'm not going to go to the mall again. There's so much choice. I get confused. I get existential dread. Let me save myself from all this. I won't go to the mall. From then on, it was to be only online ordering for me. Never mind the number of returns I'd have to make when it turned out that I had guessed wrong again about whether to order a sweater in a medium or a large. What happens with us also online. The product looks good, you think it would fit, and then it doesn't. But then he says, I have to return, but I don't mind that. Soon afterward, I was invited to a wedding. I was excited to have a chance to leave our kid with the grandparents, drink one too many glasses of prosecco, and hit the dance floor when those first bars of Hey Ya inevitably sounded. He or she, I think it's a she, I'm sorry. From what I read, it looks like a she. Uh, was invited to a wedding, was very excited. Let me leave the kids with the grandparents and take a break. Thinking of that dance floor, my mind turned to my lone pair of battered old dress shoes. Yeah, definitely the author is a she. The left shoe had a weird stain on top, subtle enough to be unapparent to a casual observer, but noticeable enough to bother me whenever I looked down. So she had this pair of dancing shoes which looked old and she didn't want to use them. So she wanted a new pair. It was time for a new pair, and I formed the intention to buy some for the wedding. That's the first thought. Please shut the kitchen door. I'll give you 40 seconds for the next slide. Please read it and let's go. All right, your time starts now. All right, what does the second slide say? Time passed, something else always seemed. So the invitation, when the author received the invitation, she decided I have clothes, but I don't have shoes. For dancing, especially, I have to go and get a pair of new shoes. But after that, some other some other work came up until suddenly it was the day of our flight. And I realized with horror it was too late for an online order. Online takes some time, right? And she didn't have the time for that. If I was going to get the shoes, I was going to have to go to the mall. But she had told herself she's not going to ever go to the mall. At that moment, I was in an uncomfortable position. I intended or had intended until then to buy a new pair of shoes, and I believed that the only way to buy them was to visit the mall. But I also intended or had intended until then never to visit the mall again. Something had to give. Something had to give means one or the other. One side has to yield. I had to decide on one of the two courses of action. I can't have both. I need so what is the dilemma? I needed to either give up my intention to buy a new pair of shoes or give up my intention never to visit a mall again, unless I could think of some way to get the shoes without visiting the mall after all. She was confused. My mind immediately turned to deciding which was the lesser of the two evils, going without new shoes or paying a visit to the dreaded mall. That she has that much dislike of going to the mall. So she's deciding, what are my options? I either go to this wedding without new shoes, wear that old battered pair of shoes and hit the dance floor, or I visit the dreaded mall. There's nothing very, now we don't know what she eventually did because she talks of other things after that. There's nothing very remarkable about the story I just told. But now suppose my reaction to my realization had been different. Suppose I had said to my partner, I acknowledge that to get the shoes I must go to the mall, but and I do intend to get the mall. I acknowledge that to get the shoes I must go to the mall, and I do intend to get the shoes. This is what she says. Now what is the second part? But all right, let's read the third slide together. I have no intention whatsoever to go to the mall. If I said this, and if I were really sincere, if it really were a sincere, accurate report of my state of mind, there would be something deeply wrong with me. You're talking, sorry, let me get this right. So she says, I have to go to the mall to get the shoes. I have to get the shoes. There is no option to not getting the shoes, but I have no intention of going to the mall. Had she said this, this combination is incoherent. Unless she goes to the mall, she can't get shoes. She has to get shoes. So the options are clear. Either she goes to the mall and gets the shoes, or she goes without the shoes. There is no third case where she can get the shoes without going to the mall, because online is out of the option. That combination of thoughts, I have to go to the mall to get the shoes. I have to get the shoes, but I have no intention to go to the mall. This combination of three sentences, according to the author, and you and I also realize, this combination is incoherent. It is not clear. It is not an editorial Vedant. I took it from an Aeon essay. All right. I generally take from editorials, but once a month or once in 8 classes, 2 months, we do an editorial of a little bit different from the rest. Right. So yeah, this is from an Aeon essay, because there was an essay on existentialism in an RC passage on existential crisis in an aptitude test recently. I thought this is a good one. Philosophers called the kind of incoherence that's involved in these states a means and ends incoherence. End is you want to get the shoes. Means, the method, the process by which you get the shoes are the means. She has to go to the mall. That is the means. The end is to get the shoes. But she doesn't want to go to the mall. She likes the end. So means, ends, incoherence. I intended an end, that is getting new shoes. Believe that a means, that is going to the mall, is necessary for that end, but I do not intend the means. I have an objective. I know the way to achieve that objective, but I am not willing to follow the means. There are many other kinds of incoherence. For example, it's incoherent to have cyclical preferences. All right. You say, I prefer chocolate ice cream to vanilla, prefer vanilla to strawberry, but prefer strawberry to chocolate. That is cyclical. All right. It's incoherent to have beliefs that are straightforwardly logically inconsistent. So chocolate ice cream to vanilla, vanilla to strawberry. That means chocolate is your first preference and strawberry is your last preference. Then you can't say you prefer strawberry to chocolate. That's wrong. Right? It's incoherent to have beliefs that are straightforwardly logically inconsistent. Right? That is what leads to incoherence. To believe that great cooks never overcook eggs. Right? You are a great cook, but you have overcooked the eggs. That's inconsistent. Great cooks never overcook eggs. X is a great cook. So what is the conclusion? He never overcooks eggs. But he has overcooked eggs. That's incoherent. That is what the passage is talking about. All right. The last slide, please read it on your own. Let me give you 30 seconds because it's a short slide, right? The last slide is the conclusion of the excerpt, not the article. The article was huge, something I can't cover in even 4 sessions, forget 1 session. So what does the author say? These examples, the one of your preference, the one of your getting shoes but not going to the mall and no time for online, or the one of your great cooks and eggs, they show that incoherence can hold between mental states of various types, beliefs, preferences, intentions, and a mixture of one or more of these types. In all cases, he says, the main point is the defect in the combination of states. Individually, there is nothing wrong whether you prefer chocolate to strawberry or vanilla. Individually, that preference is not wrong. But when you combine it, I prefer chocolate to strawberry and strawberry to vanilla, and then you say, but I prefer vanilla to chocolate, That is where the incoherence comes in. Great cooks never overcook eggs. He is a great cook, but he has overcooked his eggs. So basically, you're contradicting the premise. The combination is what contradicts. The premise themselves, if you take the statement separately, there is no defect. It's a combination that is defective. Clear? All right. Question 1. Understood the passage, all of you? Let's start. As usual, always, my first question will always be what's the main point of the author, or why has the author written the passage, the primary purpose of the author. What is the primary purpose of the author in this short excerpt, as far as you can say? To differentiate between incoherence and irrationality, to explain how combinations of contradictory beliefs lead to incoherence, to extrapolate on the evils of malls and consumerism, or to demonstrate the root cause of incoherent beliefs. What do you think the answer is? A, B, C, or D? Quickly give me your answers. To differentiate between incoherence and irrationality, to explain how combinations of contradictory beliefs lead to incoherence, to talk about the evils of malls and consumerism, or to demonstrate the root cause of incoherent beliefs. What is the answer? The answer is to explain how combinations of contradictory beliefs lead to incoherence. He says individually, there is nothing wrong with your preferences, intentions, or opinions, but it's the combination. If they contradict, that is what leads to incoherence, right? Therefore, B is the right answer. Good. Question 2. Why does the author decide never to visit a mall? Now, this is a direct question based on the facts given in the passage, right? If you're not sure of the answer, always go back to the first part where he said, where she said, I therefore decided never to go to a mall, and find out the reasons. Malls filled her with a sense of existential dread. Do you remember reading this? She felt overwhelmed by the sheer number of products available in a mall, the sheer variety, this should be C, the sheer variety of products in a mall left her feeling incapable of choosing one or two items or all of the above. Why do you think the author decided never to visit a mall? Let's go back to the first paragraph where the author tells us why she decided never to visit the mall again. One, it fills her with a sense of existential dread. Second, overwhelmed by the sheer number of products, left with the sense that I can buy all or none of them because there is no practical way to choose one or two. Based on this, what do you think is the right answer? Existential dread, yes. Sheer products, yes. Can't decide which one. So the correct answer is D, all of the above. Right? All right. Question 3. Which of the following is the author most likely to agree with? Incoherence is a myth which has been hyped by psychologists. Incoherence happens when there is a combination of mental states. The ends means incoherence is the worst type of incoherence, or incoherence is independent of the concept of unreasonableness. Which do you think is the right answer? Give me the question number. You say it is D. Did the author has the so later in the article the author does talk about the relationship between incoherence and unreasonable, but in this passage there is, I don't remember reading anything about what is unreasonable and how is incoherence different from irrationality or being unreasonable. So D is out of scope of the passage. C is wrong because the author says Ends means incoherence is one of the types of mental states, not that it is the worst kind. Correct? Incoherence happens when there is a combination of mental states. Perfect. B is the right answer. All right. Question 4. Which of the following exemplifies the means ends incoherence described by the author? Remember, the author has given 3 examples of means end incoherence. One is going to the mall to buy shoes. I need shoes, but I will not go to the mall. The second one is I prefer chocolate to vanilla and vanilla to strawberry. So her first preference is chocolate, her last preference is strawberry. And then she says, but I prefer strawberry to chocolate. That is inconsistent. The third one is where you talk about great, where she gives the example of great cooks never overcook eggs. I am a great cook, but I have overcooked the eggs too. Correct? Now, taking that, keeping that in mind, which of these, this is called an application question. There is a logic given in the passage. We now know the examples. Which of these examples is parallel to the logic given by the author? Is it A, I prefer chocolate ice cream to vanilla ice cream and chocolates to all other sweets? Second, I want to buy new clothes all the time, but I prefer old shoes to new shoes. See, I believe that online shopping can never give the joy of going to an offline store. So the joy of offline shopping can never be matched by the online shopping. And D, I like chocolate ice cream more than strawberry ice cream, but I like strawberries more than chocolates. Which one seems inconsistent to you? A, B, C, or D? Give me your answer quickly. Chocolates to vanilla ice cream and chocolates to all other sweets. Is there any inconsistency here? This person is a chocolate lover, loves the flavor of chocolate. No inconsistency here. Clothes are different from shoes. New clothes, but old shoes. There is no inconsistency. Old shoes are generally considered very comfortable. You break into your new shoe, only then you find them comfortable, right? Online shopping versus this is just a question of preference. There is no inconsistency. The inconsistency is in your choice of flavors. Chocolate ice cream to strawberry ice cream, but strawberries you like to chocolate. And in strawberries, the flavor of strawberries is strongest, right? So we of all the choices, this is the one that shows, that displays that inconsistency that the author has given in the earlier example. Therefore, the correct answer is D. The word pressing means dash and is a or and dash as used in the present. So here we are asking you the meaning, and here we are asking you what part of speech is it? It's a pressing need, a pressing problem. That's how the author has used it. What does the word pressing mean? Let's go back to the passage. Where is the word pressing used? Something more pressing, something else seemed more pressing until suddenly it was the day of our flight. So, what do you think is the meaning of the word pressing as used in the passage? And 1 minute, let me go to give the question number. All right, give me the question number. Question 5, what do you think is the answer? Answer to question 5. Answer to question 5, the act of applying force is the meaning of pressing, but not in the context of using it. A record made by the application of force, yes, that's also a meaning, but that's not as it's used. Here he said something more urgent, right? So the correct answer is C. You are correct. It means urgent, a pressing problem, more pressing issues, more important issues, more urgent issues. All right, and therefore that way it's an adjective. All right, So since the passage is about, well, it started with online shopping and offline shopping and malls and the choices available to us, and how instead of making life easier, they actually confuse us. And that's the author's in the article. It's from an Aeon article, I took it. That's what the author says. So now, and therefore I've taken idioms related to the word shop, or something that has something about purchasing, shopping. All right. What is the meaning of to talk shop? Have you ever heard that expression? That they met at the wedding and irritated everybody because they started talking shop. So, what do you think is the meaning of to talk shop? To talk about your job with your colleagues when not at work, to talk about shopping with your colleagues when you are at work, to talk nonsense, or to be obsessed with money and spending. Question 6. What is the meaning of to talk shop? Talking shop, talk shop. What does it mean? I didn't intend to talk shop, but it's my habit. It's okay. So you meet somebody, and if you are accused of talking shop, question 6, the actually talking shop does not mean to talk nonsense. Talk shop means to talk about your job when you are not. So basically, it's a term related to trade. In those days, talking shops were what you talked about all the time, what you sold, what you bought. If somebody meets you during outside office hours, and you start talk and outside your workplace, and you start discussing, oh, project khatam hua kya, I have this deadline to do, I have that deadline to do, Monday morning I have to complete a presentation. If you discuss all this at a wedding or at a party, not an official party, then you are talking shop. Even official party, okay, and it's pretty irritating for people around you. All right. What is the meaning of a bull in a china shop? If you call yourself a bull in a china shop, what are you? If you call somebody a bull in a china shop, is it to mean that he or she is an aggressive person, a clumsy person, a diffident person, or an evil person? Who would you call a bull in a china shop? What is the meaning of the expression a bull in a china shop? An aggressive person, a clumsy person, a diffident person, or an evil person? Question 7. Let me see your answers quickly. We have plenty more questions. Therefore, if a bull gets into a shop, china here means crockery, cutlery, right? Made of bone china, they say. Crockery, mainly cups, saucers, all those sets. So if a bull went into that shop, what will happen? When you're walking in such shops, you have to be very careful. Your hand doesn't hit something and a cup breaks. They'll say good to touch, but you have to buy if anything breaks. So a bull in a china shop means a clumsy person. That expression is used for a clumsy person. What does window dressing mean? There are two meanings, but generally, if you use the term, what is the common meaning of window dressing? Dressing oneself attractively, the arrangement of an attractive display in a shop window to attract customers, a skillful but misleading presentation of something designed to create a favorable impression. Or do you think both B and C make sense? Is it just A, just B, just C, or B and C? What do you think the answer to question 8 is? What is the meaning of window dressing? To dress attractively, to arrange things in a shop window, to display items attractively, to attract customers, or to mislead, to manage something, to show something in a positive light, to create a favorable impression. What is the meaning of window dressing? Question 8. A, B, C, or D? Quickly give me your answers. Window dressing does not mean to dress attractively. It literally means the arrangement of an attractive display in a shop. It also means to make a presentation in such a way that you create a favorable impression. Need not be actually accurate. All right, so the correct answer is D. B and C both are correct. All right, if you pay for something through your nose, what does it mean? To pay through your nose means to pay a paltry sum, small amount, pay too much money for something, pay after bargaining a lot, or none of the above. What is the answer for? What is the meaning of the idiom to pay through the nose? If you buy a house, you bought a computer, you bought an iPhone, most of anybody who buys an iPhone or would be paying through their nose. What do you think it is? I think it is. It means to pay too much money for something. Then there are cheaper phones which do the same thing. Why would you spend about a lakh for it, right? Yeah, you maybe think of me as a cheapskate, but I do believe that when you pay too much for something, that's the meaning of the idiom, and I would give the example of an iPhone for this. All right, next one. To sell a lemon. If you come back and tell your friends that you sold a lemon, what did you do? You sell fruits and vegetables for a living. You sell something to someone without revealing its flaws. You give away things for free without caring for their actual worth. Or you sell precious heirlooms at a loss. You know what heirlooms things? Precious artifacts that are there in your house for a long time. They belong to you many generations back. Your grandfather bought it, your great grandmother bought it, and they are heirlooms. They're jewelry or something passed on from generation to generation, then they are called heirlooms. So, what does to sell a lemon mean? Question 10. To sell something to someone without revealing its flaws. And this is generally, okay, to sell, I'll tell you the meaning if you give me your answer first. To sell fruits and vegetables for a living, to give away things for free without caring for their actual worth, or to sell precious heirlooms at a loss. Quickly give me your answer. Question 10. Let me see your answers. The moment I see the first answer, I will give. All right. This expression is generally used when you buy cars, right? Somebody sold me a lemon. When you think the car isn't, they tell you, oh, this is what it does, this is what it can do, and you buy it and you realize it's not as great as the salesperson made it sound. All right. So that's what it means. It has nothing to do with actual fruits and vegetable sales. All right, good. All right. Yes, you got that right. Good. All right. Identify the sentence that is grammatically correct. In this, identify which of these is the grammatically correct expression. There's nothing very remarkable about the story I just said. There's nothing very remarkable with the story I just said you. There's nothing very remarkable about the story I just across the story I just told, or there's nothing very remarkable about the story I just told. So the difference between said and told and the correct preposition you use with the word story. Is it A? Is it about the story I just said? Is it B, with the story I just said you? Across the story I just told, or about the story I just told? Which one is correct? Do you say there is nothing remarkable about the story I just said? You tell a story, you do not say a story. Correct? So, with the story I just said you is anyway wrong English. You don't say said you, told you. Said doesn't take an object after it. You say he said, and then you quote what that person said, right? Across the story is wrong. So the correct answer is D. Nothing very remarkable about the story I just told. All right, excellent. All right, question 12. Again, identify the sentence that is grammatically correct. Soon afterwards, I was invited for a wedding. Soon afterwards, I got invite for a wedding. Soon afterwards, I was invited to a wedding. Um, this and this are. Oh, to wedding and to a wedding. What do you think is grammatically correct? Soon afterwards, I was invited for a wedding. Soon afterwards, I got invite for a wedding. Soon afterwards, I was invited to wedding or I was invited to a wedding. Question 12. What do you think is the correct way to say this? You are invited to an event. All right, not for an event. Therefore, the correct answer is invited to a wedding. So the correct answer is B. All right, good. Last question of the set. Identify the sentence that is again grammatically correct. I prefer vanilla over strawberry. I prefer vanilla to strawberry. I prefer vanilla than strawberry. I prefer vanilla from strawberry. What is the correct preposition to be used with prefer? What is the correct preposition to be used with prefer? Vanilla over, vanilla to, vanilla than, or vanilla from. Prefer is to be used with. What is the correct expression? That is the generally used one is over, but it is to. Okay. Over is the most misused or the wrong preposition we use. Prefer X to Y is the correct word. All right. Correct preposition. All right. Okay. You did very well. You did very well in answering all the questions, almost all the questions, right? It doesn't really matter whether you get it right or wrong. It's trying and then understanding what is the right expression. All right. Okay. I will meet you again next Tuesday with another editorial analysis. This was an article analysis that I do once in every 3-4 weeks. All right. If you've taken CAT 2023 and you want to know which colleges you can apply to, then do fill this form to get a deep profile examination, and we'll tell you which are the institutes which will take you in with your CAT score. If you have any queries about our non-CAT exams, about any other courses that we have for CAT 2024 or anything else, do fill this form. One of our counselors will call you and talk to you and discuss with you which of our courses is most suitable to your needs. All right. So if you have any questions, do fill that form and get a call from one of our counselors. Join all our social media channels, any one of them, so that you get notifications of all the classes, courses, sessions that we have on YT, on the app, and our paid courses. All right, I will see you again very soon. Until then, keep reading, keep working hard. Goodbye. Bye bye.